I didn't mean to do that.
What is that?
You do. Oh, Karen, your thing finally switched.
Yeah. What is this?
Okay, well, I'll have to cut out the first couple seconds.
Wait.
Did someone reveal where we live again? No, they didn't, but...
Okay. Welcome to Infinity and Beyond, a podcast that takes a look back at the works of Pixar animation before moving onward to their newest films. Today, we're brave enough to change our fates. Because it's Brave!
Brave. I love Brave so much. Oh my god.
I think it's alright.
Yeah, you get to
I
speak
think-
with an accent this time, eh?
Just go sing a
Ooh.
little better.
Hang on, let me think of something to say.
It's a bear!
Mom, you turned into a bear!
I feel like we're gonna offend the whole, Scottish.
I'm Scottish.
Oh, never mind.
Scots are white and we're white. We can't offend them.
Oh, no.
Alright, who the gosh darn heck are we?
Hi.
I'm Daniel Hudson, also known as Whitey McWhiteboy.
What? Since when?
As of 5 seconds ago. Hi, I'm Jared Gravely, and this is our first episode of the new year, of the new decade.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Hi, I'm Olivia Weeks.
Yes, our first returning guest, Olivia.
That's right.
Well, if you don't want to count Nora, who basically just became a co-host.
Listen, I am a co-host now. I emerged.
Olivia's our first returning guest who didn't become a co-host.
That's right.
I'm Nora Jones.
We know who you are.
Well, I know, but y'all said your names. I didn't say
That's
my name.
that's the reference. It's okay.
All right. So, today's movie is Brave, which is
A
Which is,
wonderful movie.
I'm gonna be real honest. I'm gonna say it right now. Make so many enemies. I don't really care about this movie.
Well, then you
Karen?
can just leave.
Okay, I'm gonna say this right now. Your opinion is trash,
Yeah.
and you're
How many times have you said that on this show?
well. Every time I'm right.
I think you've said it about
Always.
your own opinions before after you've changed them.
Yes, you have. I'm pretty
Oh.
sure.
Actually, Karen, I agree with Nora on this. If anybody thinks this movie is trash,
I
their
don't think
opinion is
It's
trash.
just kind of boring.
It's
What?
not boring, though.
I will flip my wig. My wig has been flipped.
What is boring about turning into a bear?
It's so good, Jaren.
So, I find this movie fascinating from a development standpoint.
Same.
It's a wonderful movie.
So, Olivia, Nora, are you guys aware of what happened behind the scenes for Brave?
I know it took them forever to do her hair.
Oh yeah, the hair was a beast. It was a monster.
It was a beast and a monster.
But it turned out so good.
Her hair was Mordu.
Her hair was Bordeaux.
But
You
But, like-
already know I don't know what happened behind the scenes.
I find
That's the
that
only
way
thing
more
I know about
interesting
is
than
that
this
it
movie.
took them forever to animate and draw her hair.
Alright, I'm going to be real upfront and honest. Really, one of the problems I have with this movie is that I got really hyped up about what it was going to be originally, only to be really disappointed what we got.
Okay.
I call it the Final Fantasy Versus 13 effect, where you create some amazing hype pre-release material that looks really fascinating. Then you take the main creative force off of it, replace it with someone else, and come out with this really milquetoast final product. Almost kind of like a movie that came out a few years ago where they had to CG a guy's mustache off.
Okay, wait. What did you think it was gonna be?
Okay, it was originally pitched as this fantasy epic. It was going to be called The Bear and the Bow originally.
But it is a
It'll-
fantasy epic.
it is, but
Well, an
it was
epic
gonna
is
be
like a massive adventure. Like this one, it's not so much an adventure as it is just family conflict. But
No,
Mm-mm, I disagree.
It is a journey, an
There is
emotional one.
Well, there's also a journey because she has to follow the wisps.
Oh,
she goes into the woods. She comes back. She goes into the woods with her bear mother, and they come back.
It's still a journey. They
there
have to
is
go.
All right.
more
They
to
have to
it
go
movie
through
than
the
two.
that,
woods, and there's this
Daniel.
whole montage where she gets a day off from being a princess, and she goes and she climbs that big mountain, and she comes back and she's
a
like,
princess
"Dad,
who doesn't want to be a princess. That's very revolutionary.
You,
um,
Jared, you can
Jaren,
sit down. This movie is great.
what other princess movie, not Moana, did that?"
Sleeping Beauty.
No,
Yeah.
it didn't. Sleeping Beauty didn't even know she was a
Sleeping Beauty?
princess.
Jasmine
Yeah, and
kind
when
of
she
didn't
found
want to be a
out she was a
I
princess.
was thinking Jasmine, but why Sleeping Beauty? She was fine with being a princess. She just didn't want to go sleep.
Sleeping Beauty didn't even know she was a princess, so how can she be like,
Real.
I don't want to be a princess when she didn't even know?
When was the last time you saw this movie? In Sleeping Beauty, after she finds out she's a princess, she's really brokenhearted about it.
She
'Cause
doesn't want to be a
she-
princess because she wants to marry this guy. But when she finds out that the guy she wants to marry is a prince, she doesn't care.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
but-
give this movie progress points because she doesn't have a love interest. She's very, forward. That is my white male
Mer-
feminist.
That doesn't
Review.
have a love interest.
Merida doesn't have a love
That's
interest.
what I'm saying. She doesn't have one.
You said she
Oh.
did.
No, I said she didn't.
No, he said didn't.
Oh.
Maybe I cut out for like that last syllable.
No, this movie is great, and this is why it is, as an example of how it made me feel emotionally. Pixar, other than Toy Story 3, because that made me cry as a small child, but rewatching the movies, hasn't made me cry or tear up or anything, except for the ending of this movie. I teared up slightly because every time I'm worried she won't turn back into a human, and Merida's crying, and everyone's crying, and it's sad.
And her little baby brothers are just like,
Their brothers, I love her brothers. Oh my gosh.
I cry every
Devil's
time I
more
watch
like-
this movie.
The character development in all the characters is beautiful. The animation is beautiful.
Okay, it looks good visually.
Okay, no, I agree with Nora. The character development is literally
beautiful.
every character.
Every single one.
Like even the dad
Yes.
and the other rulers, they change.
Yes.
It's
Every
just
single.
it's so good.
It's so good, and it's just so different. It's just I can't. All your opinions that disagree with this are trash.
Well,
It's just trash.
okay, guys, we can get to our trash opinions in a moment. I really do want to talk about the behind the scenes of this film because I think you guys are going to find it fascinating.
Okay.
And this is part of the reason why I have problems with this movie.
Yeah. So originally, back in 2004, this movie was pitched by Brenda Chapman to Pixar.
Brenda Chapman directed a really important movie that I think is really good, by the way.
Yeah. So Brenda Chapman wrote and directed Prince of Egypt, and she also has a writing credit on.
I love Prince of Egypt.
I know, good movie. But she also has a writing credit on The Lion King, so her pedigree cannot be disputed. And she finally got it off the ground with Pixar, and then was fired.
What for?
Basically, higher ups. I think I read a few interviews. Basically, it looked like Disney higher ups, not necessarily Pixar higher ups, wanted her to make a lot of changes to the movie that she did not want to make.
I heard she clashed with John Lasseter a bit, so
That I also believe, given John Lasseter's history with women.
and we don't need to talk about him any more than we already have. So
Yeah, we've covered his last film. Screw him. Anyway, so she was fired and she was replaced with Mark Andrews. Now, I don't know too much about Mark Andrews. I haven't read like too many interviews with him. He was the story supervisor for a couple Pixar films before this, and it looks like he's worked with Brad Bird since The Iron Giant and probably came over to Pixar with him. Because his first Pixar credit, I think, is on either The Incredibles or Jack Jack Attack.
Mm.
So he got put in the director's chair and was basically told to finish the movie and not make waves. So that's how Brave ended up coming out when it did and in the state that it is currently at. And there's a lot of Brenda Chapman quotes trashing Disney over a lot of things regarding this movie.
Might I add something? Something was rotten in the state of Disney at that time.
Hamlet reference. The devil take thy soul.
Let's see. Well, what was rotten then, outside of who they had in charge of animation?
That's what I'm saying. It was the treachery of the Claudius-like treachery of John Lasseter.
What?
So it was the Claudius-like treachery of John Lasseter.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, okay.
So
That's interesting. I am. Oh, hello, Bear. My fluffy little bunny. Sorry,
Hello,
hold on.
Bear.
Jared said hi, Bear.
yeah, it is not the first time Disney has screwed over an animation director. If you want to talk about screwing somebody over, just look at Henry Selick's career. But his is a story for another time, probably even another podcast.
Yeah.
I did have a question though, and I didn't know if any of y'all knows because this is like because it's a Pixar film, but Merida is considered more like Disney princess-ish.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What
Yes, she is.
compelled Pixar? Do y'all know like what compelled Pixar to make like a Disney princess kind of figure?
So that was all part of Brenda Chapman's original pitch. Like Merida was always going to be a princess, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like she brought it to Pixar because she had heard they had given a lot of directors creative freedom. So that worked out really well for her.
Until it wasn't.
Yeah. I think a large part of the creative differences was Disney did want to make Merida an official Disney princess and started putting a lot of those elements into a story that Chapman had not originally conceived to be that.
The official Disney princess canon, not canon, but like who is considered and who isn't, is kind of weird. Like I'm pretty sure Elsa and Anna from Frozen aren't considered official Disney princesses.
Oh,
But
there's a whole thing with that. They're not considered within like the Disney princess franchise because they're considered their own thing. Frozen, as I think it's like a merchandising thing. It's
that's
a whole
weird.
thing. But they're not
Mulan is considered
Disney princess.
But
Huh?
Mulan is considered a Disney princess. She doesn't even marry a prince.
Yeah, she's considered Disney princess, definitely.
You know who was inducted being a Disney princess about a few years ago? Elena of Avalor.
What's that?
Oh, this TV show?
Yes!
It's on Disney Junior.
I love her.
What is that?
Okay, so she's a Mexican princess.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I remember like seeing the show kind of casually, because obviously I didn't watch it, but like I remember thinking she's cool, so that's cool. I like that she's an official.
Oh, I watched it. It's a very good show.
I feel okay. Well, now I'm gonna go watch it.
Well, hopefully Disney will make a movie about a Mexican princess one day. But because of Coco, they've already filled that quota for the century, so we won't see
Yes,
it
because you
anytime
can only
soon.
have one movie per culture.
Oh,
Yep,
that's so
that's
stupid.
Disney. It's like we already did you once. Don't ask for us for any more favors.
Oh dear.
You wanted queer people in Star Wars? There, we made two girls kiss in the background. There you
Oh,
go.
You know
look,
what?
2 seconds of LeFou dancing with a man.
I've been waiting on like a Indian Bollywood princess from Disney, but I feel like they're not gonna do it because
Oh, wasn't that Jasmine? Isn't that
they,
Aladdin? Isn't that
yeah,
Indian?
I feel like that's what they're gonna say, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, that's not the same.
No, it isn't.
It's
I don't
not.
know why I did the Peter Griffin voice. Hey, Lois, I'm on a podcast, Lois. Peter Griffin here to
Lois.
explain the
Lois,
joke.
I'm a podcast, Lois.
I've never seen an episode of Family Guy, I swear. I'm way more of a Simpsons guy.
I
I
love
was gonna say it
that.
sounded you're like borderline Homer and Peter hybrid. I was like, what is that?
Yo, I can't do a Homer voice.
I
That's
love-
too much like Patrick.
I love Family Guy.
Tommy!
Homer.
How me?
Homer.
Whoa, that's really good. Do
Well,
that
that's
again.
because he's not a dude.
No, I want to hear it again. Please do it.
I know, I'm laughing. Homer. Homer.
This is an episode about Brave.
Okay, get yourself
I
together.
tried to do
Okay.
a Scottish accent once, and it was real offensive. It was not okay. But the most I can do is saying disgusting ogre, filthy ogre.
Okay, so Tom Hanks was on Craig Ferguson one time,
Mhm.
and he was playing a Scottish character, and Craig Ferguson obviously being Scottish. I'm pretty sure Craig Ferguson was in this movie. Yeah, he was. Yeah.
I was looking at the cast right now because yes, he is. He's Lord Macintosh.
Okay, so he was on Craig Ferguson's show, and he said the best way to prepare a Scottish accent is to say the words silver plate,
Silver plate.
Sil-
silver plate.
Silver plate.
Okay, Livia's got it.
Wait, what was the plate?
Silver plate.
Plate.
Silver plate.
Silver plate.
You know, every time
There.
someone talks about like Scottish accents, all I can think about is Mike Myers, fat bastard.
Oh my god.
Austin Powers.
Or Shrek.
I-
Donkey.
No, it's
Donkey.
fat bastard always. I don't know why I never think of
All
Shrek.
right,
I just think
so-
of Austin Powers.
Wow. So yeah, we're off track.
Hey, Scottish people.
But
Okay,
speaking of the cast, can we like? Oh wait, we never did a movie synopsis.
Yeah,
Okay,
I was about
who
to say
went
we
last
should get to the
time?
plot.
That would be me, and that was horrendous.
Olivia, do you want to do a real quick plot synopsis for Brave?
Yes.
We all take turns every week.
Okay. Let's see if I can do this without getting distracted. Okay, so takes place in Scotland. There's like 4 different kingdoms, and the main kingdom is Merida's kingdom, where her dad and her mom rule. Okay. So what happens is it starts out Merida's a little girl and her dad gets her a bow and arrow and she's like, "Oh my gosh." And so that's where her love of the archery comes, and she sees like these little wisps in the woods and she starts to follow them, and then Mordu shows up and her dad's like, "Ah!" And so his eye gets eaten, and
His eye.
His leg.
right? Doesn't his eye get like
Leg.
eaten?
No. He has both eyes.
Oh, his leg. Okay,
Oh my goodness.
don't mind me, guys. His
It was
leg.
one of the 2 pirate body limbs.
Yeah,
missing.
yeah.
Her
Every
hand.
body part. So his leg gets eaten. Okay, so we time jump to where Merida's like 18, I think. They never really like specify her age.
She was of age to marry, so 16 to 18 probably.
Yeah, between that age. So her mom
If you're
wants her
Snow White, then you're 14.
her mom wants her to be this proper princess, but Merida takes her days off to go into the woods, climbing mountains, climbing cliffs, going to waterfalls, doing archery. And she has 3 twin, like triplet brothers who like to eat cake. Yeah. Okay.
I
So,
too like to eat cake.
me too. So she goes home and she finds out that her mother has set up basically an arranged like event so that she can get married to the winner. And Merida's like, no, I don't want to do that. Can't do that. I can't marry someone. She's like, I want to be free. And her mom's like, you will marry. And so they have the event, and she finds out that the oldest child is the one that can compete. So she's like, I'm the oldest child. I'll be shooting for me own hand.
That's the line.
So she gets
Say
out
the
there
line, Bart.
and she shoots all the centers, and she even shoots through the last guy's arrow, which was dead in the center. So
What a good moment.
technically, she did win. So she doesn't. She gets to marry herself. But everyone's like, no, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. And her mom's like, you can't do that, Merida. So she leaves in anger and she finds the wisps and her horse gets scared and runs away. Angus, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Angus runs away and she finds this little cottage and she goes in and she's like, you're a witch, right? And the woman's like, no, I'm not a witch, I'm a carver. But she buys all her wood carvings and she's like, okay, I'll give you a spell. And she's like, I want to change my mother's fate. She's like, okay. So she gives her a spell. She's like, this will change your fate. And she's like, okay. And so she goes back. She gives it to her mom, and it's really nasty. And then her mom turns into a bear. So, blah, blah, blah. Her mom turns into a bear. She goes to the cottage the next day with her mom, and she's like, where's the lady? Where'd she go? And she puts the potion in the cauldron. And she finds out that the only way to reverse it is to mend the bond that's broken. She's like, well, what the heck does that mean? So they spend like mend the bond. They spend like the whole day looking for stuff, and then they run into Mordu again, and they find out that like Mordu is like the brother that her mom was telling her about in the story that got so powerful, and he like killed everybody. So that's Mordu. And oh my god, where was I? Okay, so
They also had that bonding montage before that with the fish.
No, that's after that.
It's before.
It's after.
Mordu's the last part because that's where they find out who Mordu is and how they can mend the bond.
Oh yeah. They have a bonding montage and then they see Mordu. And her mom has these weird like flickers where she'll go into like full bear.
Never go full bear.
Never go full
Those moments are so sad. It's so bad.
Tropic of Thunder. Right? So she sneaks back to the castle and her mom understands her now, so she tells Merida to give this speech on how to calm everybody down, and she said, I don't really remember what she says, but she says something along the lines of like, I don't have to marry you. My mom says it's okay. And they're all like, what? And she's like, yeah. And then all the kingdom sons agree and they're like, yeah, you didn't even ask us if we wanted to marry her. So that happens, and then they go drink out of the king's private liquor, and she sneaks up there and tries to get the tapestry that she broke, and she was going to sew it back together, and that will be the bond, the mended bond. And so her dad comes up to the room and sees that his wife is gone and her dress is lying there. And I don't know why he didn't notice it sooner.
Because they were celebrating drinking.
She's been gone a whole day.
Yeah, but they were
Listen,
arguing the whole day.
I don't drink, but I don't know what alcohol can do
And
to a
she
man.
wasn't feeling good, so he probably just assumed she was in her room.
What was in that cake?
Yeah, what's in that cake? Anyway, so her dad's like, Merida, you stay here. And her mom runs away and they chase her and they lock Merida in the room and they give it to this woman with these huge boobs. And they're like, you keep this key and you don't let her out. And
For a PG movie, they like to
There's
to draw attention to that.
it turns out that her little triplet brothers had eaten some of the cake. The cake, and they had turned into little baby bears, and they're the cutest little things.
They're so cute.
And she's like, get her, and they're like, so they go after her. They get the key. They unlock the door, and she's like sewing the tapestry while she's riding her horse to save her mother.
I don't know how she did that.
I don't need it. There's no way. There's no way. But riding the horse, sewing the tapestry, and she gets there. She's like, you will not kill my mother. And all that. And so she stops her dad from killing the mother. And she puts the tapestry over. Yeah, barely. And then Mordu shows up again. And he's like, rah! And eventually Mordu gets killed because her mom pushes a stone onto him and he dies. And his spirit comes up and he like bows to them. He's like, thank you. And then he goes to purgatory. I don't know, something.
You mean he ghosts away?
Yeah, he goes. Okay, so Merida puts the now fixed tapestry over her mom, and as the sun rises over her, she turns into like a real bear. But when the sun completely covers her, she turns back into her mother, and then they cry. That's the end.
And the boys turn back too. And
then the boys turn back too because there was nothing to mend with them. So.
What were the boys' names? Fergus, Farkle, and Felicia.
No.
There's no.
There was Seamus.
Yeah, there was Seamus, Hamish,
Fergus, and
Hamish.
Fergus, Farkle.
Let me look this up. Hold on.
It was Hamish. One of them was Hamish.
Are Merida's brothers. Hubert, Hamish, and Harris.
I told you one was Hamish.
Harris is my dog's name. I have a question for you, Daniel.
Yes.
Where is the Shrek 5 trailer?
Oh my God.
Yes, I saw that video too, Jaron. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for recapping the plot. That was really good.
Very well done.
Oh.
We stand. We have no choice but to stand.
There is nudity in this film, people. There are butt cheeks shown on screen.
There are boobs hanging out.
There are booty cheeks.
Okay, there's no nipples, so they don't count as boobs.
But they're hanging out pretty far.
There's no nipples.
Maudie is just a big lady, okay? Big enough to...
They're jiggling pretty far up.
Please don't body shame her boobs, Olivia. Thank you.
They're big enough to completely swallow an
people in
entire
Wall-E.
pea.
Okay, Jared, we don't talk about that.
Oh yeah, Wally.
Listen, that was a core plot that they were chubby.
The
But
core plot was that they were fat and they could not move.
they're so chubby.
So now that we've gotten the full plot, I have one question.
Where
My question is this. Why is the movie titled Brave?
Because Merida is brave.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
But you could title that for like most Pixar movies. Mater in Cars 2 is brave.
I thought.
Okay, I feel like I know that it's kind of like strange, like why is the title Brave? But I feel like it just fits the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know, The Bear and the Bow was just a better title. It just
No,
sounds
I
better.
don't think so. That
No.
sounds terrible.
That's too.
It's too much like Brother Bear. And that,
Yeah,
Disney already did
yeah.
that movie.
Whoa, that awakened a very
I
specific
feel like
memory.
I feel like
I
that's why they
forgot about
didn't
the
name
movie.
it that, is because they already had Brother Bear.
And it sounds
So they
like
were like, we can't have Bear in the title.
I honestly feel like you could have just called it Merida.
I know a guy named Bear.
Oh no, I don't think
because
it wouldn't have sounded right.
No, but like they do that with so many other movies, like Cinderella, Snow White, Moana. I like this title so much because I will admit I have wondered why is it called Brave, but I just like it so much better because Merida was really, especially like most made, not like the other princesses. She was more independent. She was like, I ain't marrying no one. Please back off. I want to let my hair blow in the wind.
Well,
And you know,
in Wreck-It Ralph too. She's from the
if
other
you
studio.
think about it, Bear Rave.
Oh.
Oh.
Who put Joey on this podcast?
You know,
Joey, one of
if
these
this
days
movie
we're getting
legit
you on
had
here.
a bear rave in it, like guys, a bear rave. If this movie had one of those, that would have been pretty epic. I'm not gonna lie.
It was like, no, they could have.
All I think is of my dog Bear, like times 20, and like music, and there's kids like
They could have had like an ending scene where it was just like Mordu and
Just
like the triplets and like her mom as bears.
Oh, you mean like one of
just
those
like
DreamWorks
imagine-
endings where it's like a big
Yeah.
dance party to a pop song? You know what I'm talking about.
I just want to put this imagery in your head though. Imagine Merida's mom having to socialize at a rave of bears. Like she gets peer pressured into drinking alcoholic honey or something. And it's
like I can't catch fish in my mouth. What am I gonna do?
Listen, man, bears are awesome. They're so cool.
I like
and
bears.
It's like trap music, but only with bear grunts.
No, you know what that just made me think of?
They're
Y'all
spinning
remember
records on tree stumps and
y'all remember the
even
Adventure Time
fireflies with
episode
legs.
where
Which
they're in
one?
like someone's stomach and like the bears are like setting off fireworks in the stomach, and they're like, and they're talking to the person who they're in the stomach of, and they're like, they can't set off fireworks in my stomach. And they have to go back down to the bears, and they have to be like, you can't set off fireworks in his stomach.
Remember
And they
the
have to use,
2007
like his butthole.
That's an Adventure Time episode, right?
lost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember the
I remember that
2007
episode.
movie Bee Movie where they have where the bee sues the human race and he brings in a bear in court?
Hang on, Nora. I'll look up what episode it is, and I'm gonna make you watch it.
Episode of what? I'm so
And
confused.
okay.
What are we talking about?
It's an episode of Adventure Time, and there are these like bears in this thing's stomach.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yes. I love Adventure Time. I
Me
did
too.
not know what y'all were talking about. I was like, what?
I don't even
Yeah,
remember
we're
if
still
it was
on the bear
bears.
rave, didn't you?
It was. It was called Party Bears.
Yes! Yes! Oh, bless you, Adventure Time.
Do you guys remember the regular show episode with all the unicorns?
Yes.
Mhm.
Marshall, what are you doing?
No unicorns in this movie, though.
I
They're not
wish.
brave enough.
They're not brave enough. Onward, there's some
Excuse
unicorns
me,
in there.
unicorns are brave enough. They're the best animal.
Then why aren't they in the movie Brave?
Because
They didn't exist in
they're
12th
so
century
amazing,
Scotland.
They're so amazing they couldn't fit in their budget.
Sure.
Why not?
Oh, anyway, I did want to talk about the cast for this movie.
Ooh.
You mean the Harry Potter rule of 3?
They got Nanny McPhee.
Hello, Emma Thompson.
That's what I'm saying. Every movie where there's a Harry Potter actor has to be at least 2 more.
Are there other Harry Potter actors in here?
Yes. Let me look at the cast list.
Matt Rupert Grint.
Who are the other two?
Kelly MacDonald played Rowena Ravenclaw.
Harry Potter.
What?
What was she in Harry Potter?
Rowena Ravenclaw. She was also the voice of Merida.
Oh.
Emma Thompson was
knew she
Professor
was the voice of-
Trelawney. And Julie Walters, who voiced the witch, played Molly Weasley. Oh, and Robbie Coltrane, who voiced Lord Dingwall, played Hagrid. So that's 4.
That's
4
right.
Harry Potter actors.
Hold on, let me pull back up the cast list. No,
Because when you need Brits, you go to Harry Potter.
I love Kelly MacDonald. I love her.
She does a really good job in this.
She's so talented. I was watching her in another series, and I actually didn't know she voiced Merida in Brave because it had been a second since I'd seen Brave, and I wasn't thinking about it. And I was like, her voice sounds so familiar.
I burped.
So I looked it up again, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then I just fell in love with her even more. And yeah. This cast is so good. Like, I always say how good the Pixar cast is, but this cast is phenomenal. Like,
good job. Good job, Pixar.
It is fairly
Congratulations.
all things considered.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. They all put off Scottish accents.
Yeah, and like their accents are good because those lines are iconic. There's some like I'll be shooting from my own hand, let my hair blow in the wind, and like that kind of stuff.
And the most iconic
Wait,
of all,
Kelly
Brave.
MacDonald is Scottish.
Is she?
Yes.
Yeah, she is. That was stupid. But the rest of them.
I mean, the rest of them are all English, and all the English ever do all day, every day is make fun of Scottish accents. So...
Well, this other guy's Scottish.
Sure.
And this other guy.
I'm sorry for when I started humming.
And this other guy.
A minute ago.
There's only like one English person in this whole cast.
Well, their accents are good, so that's why.
Anyway. Yeah, still not sure why the movie's called Brave.
I just think it makes a really good name.
Danny boy. Why is we're looking this up? Why is Brave called Brave?
The way I see it is that, you know, back in those times, you would have had to been really brave to break that stereotype where like she has to marry a male from a neighboring country because
like,
she
I get
lived
that.
on the name.
I get that one of Merida's character traits is that she's brave.
That's why it's named that.
She's also stubborn, and the movie isn't called Stubborn.
Yeah, but I think her biggest character trait is that she's brave.
Brave.
But
and that's why
really
it's called
like
Brave.
The theme of the movie, there's not a character who needs to like learn to be brave. It's not about bravery on the battlefield or something like that.
Who cares about war?
It's about being brave for staying true to who you are and finding your fate and making your own destiny.
Destiny.
And but it's also emotionally brave because her and her mother connect on an emotional level because they both had their shields up, but they were brave enough to put their shields
Okay,
down.
and
You want
yeah,
to know another?
like they both have pride and they're scared to look past
Why
their
isn't the movie
pride
called Pride?
because they overcome their pride and they look
Pixar.
past it and they learn to love each other,
Why isn't
which
this
is a
movie
very
called
brave
Love?
thing to do because a lot of people don't know how to do that.
Why isn't this movie called Bear Rave?
You know, it's a
Party
really
bears.
good movie about a parent and child relationship, and it's them on the road and learning to learn more about each other.
A
Freaky
goofy
Friday, the
movie.
1970 version.
A goofy movie
Freaky Friday,
featuring
1970.
freaking Powerline, the coolest dude ever, the greatest animated Disney character ever, and I'll stand by it.
Freaky Friday, 1970s version.
Cool. All right. But I meant Freaky Friday, the 1970s version doesn't have freaking Powerline in it.
Whoa.
Yeah, but
y'all.
Freaky Friday 1970s version has Jodie Foster in it.
So does Silence of the Lambs.
Y'all. Brave is the first movie with like a sole female protagonist in Pixar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, progress points.
I just realized that. It's the first one. What a good character to do it with. I love Merida.
Meredith's such a good character.
I love her hair. I love her hair. So
Why
much.
isn't this movie called Hair?
Daniel?
Because there's already Tangled. Tangled
Yeah,
is
there's
a way better
Tangled.
movie than
Fair.
this.
Fair.
Well,
Jaren.
why is it called Tangled, Daniel? Rapunzel's hair is never tangled. Why don't they just call it Rapunzel?
I know why they called it Tangled, because they were going to call it Rapunzel, and they didn't. They chickened out because The Princess and the Frog didn't make good box office numbers because they were afraid they had the word princess in it, and boys wouldn't go to see the movie with a girl's name in the title.
So that's why they
Princess
called it
and the Frog. That's such a good movie.
So good. Never remake it. Just don't.
I love that movie.
I feel like it won't be as good as live action because they won't be able to get all those cool like voodoo effects.
I know, which is why they should really not remake animated Disney movies in live action. There's so much you can do in animation.
Okay,
I will say, though, the live action Mulan actually looks pretty good, and I actually might want to see it.
Cinderella was pretty good.
No, Beauty and the Beast was good.
No, Beauty and the Beast was
really
terrible.
don't like that.
Oh my
Beauty and
god!
the Beast
Every
at
time I
all.
watch
It's
that
really
movie,
bad, except for that one song.
Evermore. I
Yes,
love Evermore.
No, listen.
That's my
the
emo song.
The best Beauty and the Beast movie is the French version that has what's that dude's name?
Oh my gosh!
Vincent
I tried
something.
to watch that. It was awful. Olivia,
It's amazing. It's amazing.
No, I
The best Beauty and the Beast is the one George R.R. Martin wrote.
What?
Give me a second.
The best adaptation of Pride and Prejudice is the Star Wars sequel trilogy about Ben Solo and Rey. It's Pride and Prejudice in space, the two of them.
Just like spoiled it.
I can't spoil something people have been shipping for 4 years.
Yeah, you just spoiled it because the end of Pride and Prejudice.
Oh.
Be real.
Well, the end of Pride and Prejudice is very different than the end of The Rise of Skywalker.
Well, yeah, but still.
Yeah. This is a podcast about the Brave.
Anyway,
I have ADD.
I don't understand.
All right,
Jared,
so
I still don't fully understand why you don't like it, because it's so good.
It really is amazing.
Do we want
to?
I have notes if you guys want to start. So I'm a little bit in Jaren's boat. I think the movie's probably. I feel like I like the movie a little bit more.
It's not bad. It's better than Cars 2.
But the animation for this film is just so perfect. It fits the mood. Right as the movie starts, I immediately think folklore, storytelling of legend. That's how the theme continues throughout the whole film, and it all intertwines. And even the mystical moments they add in with the Will of the Wisps, like the animation they use for that, for instance, the sound effects and soundtracks. We have so much to talk about. But like the Gentleman with the Will o' the Wisps, how it calms and all the commotion, and there's just such a good contrast there. Also, the soundtrack for this movie is bomb. It's bomb.
Pixar soundtracks are historically good, and this one is no exception.
Yeah, it's no Randy Newman though.
This one gave me Ratatouille vibe. It felt right in with like the culture and the storyline.
It's great. Yeah.
Very well.
The Scottish movie gave you French vibes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No. The quality gave me quality vibes, Daniel. Don't come at me.
Okay.
I like France.
So do I.
We.
Baguette.
Oh, je m'appelle Lydia.
Olivia, I'm just gonna ask you to speak in French always.
I know a little French, but not that much.
It's very impressive.
Oh, I've decided I do have a problem though.
Oh God.
Okay.
Every time we watch one of the movies in like my top 4 or 5 Pixar movies, it automatically becomes my top movie. So I'm very confused.
So you're saying there was a week-long period where Cars 2 was your top Pixar movie?
No, because Cars 2 is never anywhere near my top 5.
Thank goodness.
Okay, I changed my statement. Top 4, because now I'm looking at my list.
Y'all have lists?
Oh yeah, we have to do a list episode. I have so many lists, and I've had a hard time deciding. I'm still deciding. Ugh. Oh wait, I'm gonna change something right now. Actually, no, I'm not.
Daniel, I hope you're proud of me, because in Hamlet there's a scene where I have to be one of the players putting on the play within a play, and through most of it I was doing Giorno's pose.
You're gonna be a gang star one of these days.
Jaron. That's my dream. I, Jaron Gravely, have a dream.
Giorno Gravlivana.
That was for my friend Mark, who was supposed to be there. Well, he told us he wasn't going to. I was prepared for him to be there. He's a huge JoJo fan. I was gonna do. I actually did several JoJo poses during that scene, but
we're supposed to be talking about Brave.
We feel so talking about JoJo.
Like, we're like 47 minutes in, and I haven't talked about a single one of my notes.
No, it doesn't seem like he even knows what a stand is.
Well,
It'd be like that.
Sorry, Daniel. On the bright side, I think I fixed my list, but okay, go ahead.
We're not gonna know your list until Toy Story 4. You can change it as much as you want until then.
Oh, I will. You know I will.
I have my top 3 solidified, but
I have everything under 4 solidified.
My top 3 so far is my top 3 of all time. So.
Okay, let's hear notes, Daniel.
So, the method to undo the spell takes away a lot of this movie's tensions.
No.
Yep.
No.
No,
right.
I don't think it does.
He right.
So
he wrong.
Here's the thing. The witch
gives them
that mending the bond. And once you know, like, they have to fix their relationship in order to have her come back to normal, you kind of know the character beats that have to happen from there on out.
Actually, no, because I thought that they were going to fix her bow and arrow.
I'm a little salty.
I like that because it does set up more what needs to happen throughout the rest of the movie, because you're kind of just lost, clueless for a second, like, what's going to happen? How are they going to fix this? Then they hear mend the bond. And so you're not fully sure, but then you're watching them together as mother-daughter,
Then the
understanding to
bond
mend them.
is pretty unambiguous. It's pretty obvious.
But
Fix your relationship, and then you just know
yeah.
that has to happen. And when it does happen, the movie's over.
Well, yes, but I mean that's
So
kind of like
it
the
becomes
get-go from
a
the
waiting
beginning.
game.
It's like, I mean, but you could say that with any Pixar movie, like WALL-E. The obstacle's gonna be till they get back on Earth and like the plant's safe. Like,
Yeah, but WALL-E was a MacGuffin movie. This is a character movie, and the thing is, like, you know,
Toy
the
Story
characters have to
give
fix
that
their
to
friendship,
Andy's
and then
mom.
once they, not their friendship, their familial relationship, and once they do that, the movie's over. So a lot of the tension is kind of sapped from this film because you're waiting for them to just get it.
Then why did I tear up, Daniel?
Because emotions are subjective.
Okay, listen.
Oh,
You may know.
Okay.
Obviously, you know that the bond needs to be mended, but what you want to watch is the journey of how they get there, because the character development, because it is a character film, is so important. And then watching the struggle of getting there and getting to the actual bond that needs to be mended literally mends their emotional bond.
Exactly.
It's beautiful. And the journey along the way from going from the woods back into the palace where they've created new versions of themselves through their bonding. And then Merida steps in as her mother's place, like her mother's been training her how to do, but in her own independent way, because she's an independent woman and putting her own on it.
Own independent way where she also has to completely rely on her mother throughout the entire speech. Yep.
Yes, because she is bonding with her mother in this moment, but she doesn't have to depend on her the whole speech. She uses her mom as a crutch in the beginning because she realizes she needs her mom, and her mom was right because she needs to learn how to do these things for the role.
Exactly.
But
Go
then,
off,
And
Nora.
all those
Go off.
beats are going to happen.
No, you see the specific moment where she takes it on her own and she uses her own words and then turns directly to her mom and basically says how much she loves her and how good they are together. And I wish y'all had me on film because I'm doing so many arm gestures right now.
Oh, I know you, so I know you probably
Nora.
are.
I appreciate you. That mwah.
I feel like I would have appreciated this movie more if their bond was allowed to mend organically through the journey. Or, like, maybe, I'm not saying this is the better solution, but if they had to brew their own potion on her back, there wouldn't be environment for them to become or to fix their bond. But it could happen naturally over the course of the story as a consequence of what they're doing. And instead, it becomes because just telling them, like, yeah, just be a good mother-daughter duo, and you'll go back to normal. It makes
But they don't just become a good mother-daughter duo. They do learn to love each other.
Yeah, that's what they had to do.
Yeah, but they're not doing it. It's not like somebody forced them to do it.
Well, it wouldn't
I'm
be
just gonna start
good.
talking about a goofy movie, honestly.
No,
they basically, when they heard what they had to do, they did not know what they had to do.
Yeah, but the audience knows.
But no, they're genuinely confused. So on their way back to the castle to figure out.
The first time
that's not our
saw this
problem.
movie, I knew the second I saw mend the bond, they had to fix the relationship. And I can see the movie playing out before me. The bonding montage, the learning from each other bits. Maybe it's just I've seen this done so many times
they
before.
weren't forced to do it.
And
It happened.
maybe there's a reason why for the first time ever we see it. Sorry.
Jaren's just all like, Mom, Dad, please stop fighting.
was like dying because I heard you arguing, and also yeah, and I'm like, oh my god.
I was very monotonely singing that song from a Goofy movie. We'll watch that later.
It's very nice.
They've
Darren,
been
thank you.
laughing as long as I can remember.
Wait.
So
Hold
they're
on.
not gonna laugh.
Are you comparing Brave to the Goofy movie?
I said that like 20 minutes ago.
It didn't process because of what a trash opinion that is. Please exit from the conversation. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Dang.
Oh, he left! He actually left!
You took him out. What did you expect would happen?
Nora!
I
Nora
you
said
arguing.
leave.
Daniel said, what did you expect would happen?
Yeah, this episode's gonna be entitled "Jaren Has Enough."
Oh my goodness. Oh man.
That was funny.
What a piece of work this podcast is.
Yep. So.
I keep thinking about that TikTok Olivia showed me yesterday. Mommy. We're supposed to bring cookies to school tomorrow.
Oh my god. She said they had to be homemade. I could get the cookie dough. Mommy, I ate it all and now my tummy hurts.
What?
Marshall, get down.
My goodness.
Funny.
Well, the Brave discussion is going great.
Granted that I left for 3 seconds.
I said leave. He actually left.
Oh man. So
I think we need to.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear we're not going to see eye to eye on that note. I
If
didn't
we
expect you guys
listen to
on that one.
each other's hearts.
Thank you,
Do you
Jen.
want to know why I was singing that song?
Because
that song's
you're a
called
gang
Eye to
star.
Eye, and I was hoping we at least find something we could all stand eye
Oh my
to
god,
eye
no.
on.
I know something we could see an eye to eye on. Let's talk about Meredith's hair.
It's
Oh
pretty
my
and
god,
red.
it's so
So
amazing.
I'm taking a step
It is
out
a
of my boots
feat.
because I was getting claustrophobic.
animation is what it is.
Beautiful. They couldn't have done a better job.
I don't think Pixar has replicated hair animation that good in any of their films. Just gonna throw it. I think
Just like
I think Merida is peak hair animation.
every time like she moves, I'm just like, oh my god.
Her personality is in that hair. Like, let's be honest. Like, her hair is her personality.
Oh, she is a very fun character. I
Wild,
like her.
free, crazy, beautiful. Each curl is independent.
I don't know why, Jaren, but that song made me think of that super annoying song on that Teen Titans Go show where they're like, nah, 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 nah.
I'll have you know, I actually kind of like Teen Titans Go. I know it's breaking like a cardinal
Don't
sin
you
of animation
ever
fans.
say that ever again.
Hey, saying you like Teen Titans Go doesn't negate the fact that the original Teen Titans was good.
Yes, it does.
I was like, it was
Yes,
like
it
on,
does.
It was like on when I watch cartoons like a lot, so like it was never my favorite, but it was okay. They played it way too much, and it kind of got on my nerves after a while.
Oh, they did. They did.
So
There's like
annoying.
well-documented reports of how often they would play Teen Titans Go.
It's
Okay,
so much.
so
Like,
no.
it's basically 24 hours.
I do like that song where he's like, and I won't be catching villains.
Oh,
You got me catching villains.
I remember waffles, waffles, waffles. Waffles.
Oh no. No, they started playing some good ones. It's still annoying, but they played like I'm bugging, I be bugging, straight bugging and I be
You know what this movie could have used?
Starfire.
Just like
A
a
song.
really good
Yeah,
ancient
boy.
Scottish song.
Oh,
Well,
would've been
there
pretty
was
cool.
they
bagpipes
did have
and
Touch
there
the
was
Sky, and that's a
haggis.
really good song.
It's a good song. I'll give it that.
Well, like I'm talking about like a traditional like Scottish type thing, like Le Festin for Ratatouille or something like that.
Oh yeah, that beautiful
Oh,
song.
I
Ratatouille.
hated Lafested.
Okay, in
Who's got
Brave, the
trash opinions now? Damn.
still
It's a terrible song. I
It's
hate
really
listening to that song.
Oh,
I'm gonna
but
start playing it.
the nature scenes
Don't.
in Brave are gorgeous.
Yeah, it is.
Like that whole sequence where she's riding on the horse and like shoots the arrows at the bullseyes. I love that.
But you know what else has like really good visuals and isn't a good movie? Avatar.
I hope you're not talking about
James
Last
Cameron's
Airbender
Blue
movie.
People got beaten by Endgame. I'm not talking about Last Airbender.
Okay, good, because that was terrible.
Hey, can you guys hear it?
No.
No. I think I just heard it play.
I'm trying to play it. Oh well.
Our friend Charlie, who was in
Charlie.
Hamlet with us, he hates Oklahoma. So
Oh my god,
Olivia
we
and
were
I
singing it.
singing Oklahoma songs at him.
Anyway, I really want to talk about Brave in the like, what was I just talking about? Oh, like that sequence. It's so good.
Yeah.
All the sequence movie, I think, tie into the plot and the storyline so well, and I'm just amazed by it. I love the contrast of the mood shift. Oh, that was a terrible use of words. I love the mood shift between
So you're talking about? Sorry, I might have. Which one?
the scene where, okay, well, first I was talking about the scene where she's shooting arrows at the bullseyes on the horse in the beginning, because she's saying like there's one I get the one. Yeah,
I was hoping that would come back, like in the climax, they'd have some archery off of the horse, but
well,
nope.
her and her mom rides the horse together at the end.
Yeah, they do.
I'm talking about like in the climax of the movie, like they have to do, and the only way to do it is horseback, and that's how Merida's skills can
Daniel,
help accomplish and save the day. And
while riding a horse.
That's not the same thing.
Yeah, it's hard.
Like, here's the thing. Like, Merida grows to appreciate her mother's skill of, like, diplomacy and handling those large crowds. Like, they do call back to Eleanor's walk to calm everyone down with Merida's, but there's never really a moment where Eleanor has to appreciate archery and how much it means to Merida. And I think
but she appreciates
that makes this movie a little unbalanced.
Yes, no.
She appreciates nature, that's fine, but
nature. That's how they bond. And
yeah, but there's nothing about archery. I mean, one of the big things in their fight was her mom burning.
Yes.
He pays off.
Yes, but they do ride the horses at the end. Like I know it's a
You're not
moment. Okay, I get what you're saying, the whole saving the day, but her mom, like, she kind of becomes like Merida at the end in order to protect her children. Like, she's always been feisty like that, but she really stands her own, takes her own stance. It's like, no, this is not going to happen, and she kills Mor'du.
I get all of that. I'm talking about archery specifically. Something
like you just want archery.
What I'm saying is one of the most important things to Eleanor was that Merida understand and come to appreciate the difficulty of princess duties, which she does by the end. One of the most important things to Merida was her freedom, and that's largely expressed in this movie through archery. And there's never a moment, even though her freedom and archery are so linked, there's never a moment where Eleanor appreciates Merida's archery. The archery never pays off when saving the day in any way. Okay, I think this script is unbalanced because of that.
I disagree, but like I get what you're saying.
One of you was even talking about earlier about how when mending the bond, you thought it was going to bring in the bow, and then it just didn't.
Oh, I said that.
Yeah,
That's why it's not called the bear.
I said I thought that
it's
they
not
were
called
gonna have
bear
to.
rave either.
They were gonna have to mend the archery bow and the tapestry.
That's true. I guess I would have liked to see the bow being like mended,
Because
kind of
something with archery.
Because Merida like ripped her tapestry, but her mother also threw like her favorite thing into the fire and made it burn.
You're right. I'll give you that. You're right.
But okay, I do see it this way. When Merida ripped the tapestry, she didn't feel bad about it at all. But when her mom heard her bow pop, she immediately regretted it and pulled it out of the fire and tried to fix it.
Yes.
I grant you that,
there is
but at the same time, Merida wasn't there to witness it. Merida has no idea that her mother ever felt guilt about that.
They did show that she felt guilty.
We see that. Merida does not.
Immediately regretted it. So I feel like that's why they didn't go back to the bow and arrow. Because we saw that her mom regretted it.
We see that. Merida doesn't. That's the thing. Like, Merida doesn't get that moment where her mother does.
Well, they all turned out happy, so does it really matter?
We actually assumed that the was technically just of the
Jaren just over here being a huge fucking weeb.
Because it's a physical representation of the two of them being split, and instead, because she feels remorse for the bow, even though Merida doesn't see that, that's why the bow isn't singled out like the tapestry.
Wait, y'all. I muted Jaren because he wouldn't stop singing, and now I don't know how to.
No. Olivia, how'd you even do that?
Oh my god.
I can't. Wait, can he hear us? Wait, let me text him.
Oh my gosh. Olivia's just going rogue. She's gonna mute everyone she doesn't want to hear.
Daniel, wait, can you still hear us? Jaren, baby, you gotta text me if you can hear us. Oh, he read it. He's typed. I think yes. He said yes. Well, that's hilarious. If he like hangs up, will it unmute him?
Maybe. Oh yeah, I feel like Olivia should be the one to mend this bond. Not gonna lie.
Nora, give me something funny to say when I come back. Oh, I guess I wasn't supposed to read that out loud.
Oh, no.
No, you weren't. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
The whole episode just turned me into narrating Jaren's text.
Oh my gosh.
This is the best episode.
This is pretty good.
Oh, I forgot I was wearing mascara. I just wiped it all because I was laughing. Oh, I'm gonna look like the Joker. Sorry, Jaren. I won't read your text now. Oh, he left.
Yep.
Did someone say Joker?
Oh, that was good.
Very nice. Jaren's back.
We live in a society.
Olivia, how'd you even do that?
Murray, you get you frickin' deserve.
Mute him again.
It worked.
That was so funny. Hello?
I kicked him out of the call. I muted Jared. I kicked him out.
All right, I'm sorry. Okay. Being removed from the call gives you this passive-aggressive little message of a crying little emoji man that says someone removed you from the call. Sorry.
He came back and he said, all right, I'm sorry.
Okay. Jaren, I have a feeling we need to stop you from singing again, so tell us.
Oh my gosh. I apologize.
Okay,
You're in my
all
boat.
right.
What's your problem with
This
this movie?
movie, I don't care. I care about it so little that it makes me think about wanting to watch other movies because I associate them with this.
Your opinion is trash.
Disney released a CG princess movie that was 10 times better than this 2 years before. In this exact same year where it came out, this film won the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. It snubbed a way better movie called Wreck-It Ralph that I'm very fond of.
Oh, that's also a good movie.
As well as the fact that it also really makes you think about How to Train Your Dragon.
I mean,
A movie that's like 10 times better than the 3 of those, except for maybe Tangled.
okay, I like Brave better than How to Train Your Dragon.
This podcast has gotten a little nasty, and I never intended for this podcast to be like
Why Brave? Why was this the one to like destroy us?
Because Brave is a great film, Jared.
Now we're just becoming the audio version of that cat meme where the woman's pointing at the cat and screaming, and the cat's just sitting there.
Guess what the thumbnail is going to be?
In Brave has such a they're so distinct, and I love each character. There's not like a character I'm like bleh, because they're just each so specific and they're just so true to their own motives, and their character arches are so good. The development was so thought out for each character, and I love it so much.
You've been saying character arch for a longest time, and I didn't want to say anything about it.
It's bad. I know. I'm not good with terminology. You just have to bear with me.
Okay.
Guys,
I would argue the character arc for Merida's dad is kind of what?
He's my favorite character in the movie because he's just so funny and jolly. I love the big jolly
He
king
is very
man.
jolly. I won't lie, but
he
I
probably
towards
would
the
hang
end,
out with
like-
that guy.
but at
like
the
towards
same-
the end, like when he thinks his wife is Mordu and he's trying to kill her and he doesn't listen to Merida at all. And then his wife just kind of turns back into her real self, and he's just like, oh, go and hit the reset button on all my actions prior to this. Back to jolly mode.
Okay. You're correct. But the story's narrative primarily lays with Merida and her mother, who need to change their ways to mend the bond. But their dad isn't really the problem with that, so not much shifting needed to happen, although he probably does have the least amount of character development. But it's because his personality already provides happiness for those around him, including himself. So there wasn't really much that needed to change there.
All right. We have gone all over the place this movie, and I think we need to mend what was broken because we're all friends here, and
I'll
you've
reach
all got
across the aisle, and I'll talk about one thing I really do appreciate from this movie.
Mhm.
Actually, two things. 2 of my notes were compliments. 2 of them were criticisms. let's get into the 2 compliments.
Oh gosh.
So, Eleanor wears her hair up the whole movie, but after she's changed her mind, after she's become human again, and after we see her like riding with Merida, her hairstyle is completely changed to where it's much longer, flowing. She
Yeah.
literally lets her hair down throughout
Yeah,
the movie.
she's not as strict.
I like it.
That is a very solid visual metaphor. Don't even need to like call attention to it in the film. It was just very well done.
Yep, it was.
That
I
was
like
really
that.
good.
In general, I really like that character too. It's a shame she was a bear most of the time.
I loved Bear
Yeah.
Mom. Bear Mom was adorable.
Bear
She had a lot
Mom
of good
was
physicality.
super good.
She had a lot of good physicality. I just wish she could have spoken.
She was a bear.
I liked how Pixar made it
know.
very physical.
There's a
gesture.
talking teapot in Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, but this was a realistic bear moment.
Yeah, and
Realistic
makes
bear
it
moment.
clear for
Puts
Because
on a crown.
if she was
if
if she was,
you couldn't have that moment where she's turning into the bear. And
yeah,
Merida doesn't get it first, and she attacks her.
yeah, you wouldn't have like those moments where she would slip.
All
You
right,
could have.
fair.
You could have just
Oh,
had her like lose the speaking voice over the course of the bear transformation.
I don't think they
I
would
just-
have mended if she had her voice, because they would have just proceeded to argue.
Exactly.
And they would have split. And
They
it would have
argue plenty when she's still in bear form.
also,
and they
so
Yeah,
my
but she
throat hurts
doesn't
after
have-
doing that Joker voice, so I'm really sorry.
Sorry. But she doesn't have like the voice to physically like fight back her feet. You know what I'm trying to say? That was bad. But
she gets her emotions and stuff across with her face. I'm just saying,
no, but when Merida hears some of the things her mom says, she kind of shuts down, and because that's how a typical like teenager mom, like it, except to an extreme form. And Merida, if she hears something like directly going against what she's saying, she's just gonna want to back away from that situation because she's gonna believe her mom can never change. And the physicality that's shown through the bear, although they do still argue, it's in different terms, and they realize because Merida is the one that has to take charge when her mom normally takes charge, is why the dynamics are able to shift. Because her mom doubts her in the beginning, and like when Merida says we need to go this way, her mom doesn't believe her. But you can see because Merida has to be the one in charge, that's how that happens.
I understand that. I like it's not even a bad character thing for Merida or her mom to do that. I just wish there was a way for them to communicate easier. Like I go back to and I think about the talks that Carl and Russell would have. You know, just a few small conversations throughout that film that really strengthened their connection. And I don't think you get that with Merida and her mother while her mother's a bear.
I think you do.
The whole fish moment.
Yeah, they connect so well over that.
Because she doesn't want to be in nature. She's like, that's disgusting. And then Merida even quotes her mom, and she says, how do you know you won't like it unless you've tried it? And yeah.
You know what? I'll give you that.
Thank you.
When she throws her own words back at her, yeah, I get it.
I'll make you eat those words.
See, y'all are coming around. Y'all are seeing me and Nora's point of view.
Well, the thing is,
Not
I never said I
really.
hated this movie. I don't even think it's bad. I just don't think it's good.
Sharon, you said this movie made you want to go watch other movies out of anger.
I know.
Anger, just more like I associate them with other movies.
No.
No.
I have never tried to say this was a bad movie. I'm just saying there's a lot of things keeping me from liking it.
You don't even like it?
I would give it a solid meh out of 10.
What?
Yeah, same here. Yeah, it's a 6 out
No,
of 10.
okay.
There's plenty of things I can say about it that are good, but there are also plenty of things that are lacking. And I feel like the lacking bits pull this movie down too far for me to really say.
It's okay,
It's
but
good.
you won't remember it in T-minus a day. As freaking
I
Jeremy
like
Johns would
Brave.
say.
I was
That's
so
cool.
sad when
Good
it was
for you. I'm
over.
I
glad you
think I think I even went to see Brave in the theaters when it came out.
I think I did too, Olivia.
Yeah,
I did not end up seeing it
I
in
didn't
theaters.
either.
Exactly, and that's why y'all don't like it, because you didn't have the experience.
See, also,
I didn't
This is
see
like
the
one of the
original
last
Toy
movies
Story
I
in
rented at
theaters, and I
Blockbuster,
still love that movie.
and I have very nostalgic feelings about Blockbuster. So
honestly,
Hollywood Video.
I mean,
I
there are
love
so many
Blockbuster.
movies I didn't see in theaters, and I still absolutely love.
But
So.
I'm just saying,
Pilgrim
you
versus the
gotta
World.
have the experience. Because if I would have seen the live-action Lion King on a DVD screen or a VHS tape in my house, I probably wouldn't have liked it.
Well,
I saw that movie in theaters, and
You
I
like the
thought it
live
was
action
terrible.
Lion King?
It was good.
It was
I
not.
was in my favorite taco place waiting on tacos, and it was on, and I was like, "Wow, this looks really bad."
It was pretty good.
No,
I'm pretty sure
no,
I
it
also
was.
saw Brave in theaters, and we've talked about this before on the podcast. Most of these movies I hadn't seen in theaters. I'm pretty sure I saw them all on DVD. Like, I know I saw Ratatouille and Up and Incredibles all on DVD. And I especially loved this movie when it came out, but also because what year did this come out?
2012.
12. So yeah, I was like
Yeah.
10, 9.
You know, you probably liked it because we all thought the world was ending that year, and you're like, we're not going to get many more movies. This has
Hey,
to
I
be.
like The Dark Knight
Talking
Rises. That came out
about-
that year.
I grew up obsessed with the Disney princesses.
Me too.
And then I saw Merida in Brave, and I was like, she is the coolest one ever. Her hair is gorgeous. She is so different from all of them. And of course, you know, Disney's built upon having more diverse princesses, which they need to do more of and more representation, but that's a different conversation. But they're trying. But this was sort of one of the starts of it, just having a princess that didn't need a prince or a love interest. And she was so cool. And I thought it was so cool that she had archery and she could still manage to be everything that she was and more. And the movie was very entertaining for me as my 9-year-old self, and I loved it. And I'm talking with my hands again because I'm running out of words because I just love this film. I just did like
All
the
right.
whole.
That's awesome. I don't want to take that away from you. I'm glad you enjoy it.
What company is Strange Magic from?
What?
Lucasfilm.
Really?
What's that?
Yeah, that was a George Lucas joint.
It's like
like Spike Lee.
an animated movie about like fairies and stuff, and they sing like popular songs.
George Lucas went on record saying that was going to be his Star Wars for girls.
It was really good. Actually, I thought I was going to hate it, but I enjoyed it.
Why isn't Star Wars for girls already, George Lucas?
Well, now you know how old white men think.
Anyway, y'all should watch it. It's a very good movie.
How much does it pay to be a new Star Wars, Captain Marvel, whatever, hate channel?
Well, more than you would get for being a channel about loving stuff.
Yeah, we're not about hate in 2020.
No, I know. I'm making a joke about these terrible, awful human beings who make, those kind of channels, kind of videos.
I would not be surprised if there's like one of those for like animated princesses, but they have no views because nobody cares.
I mean, really, the only like big animation people on YouTube who like I'm not talking about animators, but people who make content animation. There's Rebel Taxi. There's that other guy.
There's lots of.
You really know your stuff, Jaron.
I do. I mean, I forget his name. He has an animated avatar.
Are you talking about the ones that like do animation for their channel?
No, not like the Odd Ones Out or anything. I love Odd Ones Out.
I was gonna say there's a lot of that, and they're all amazing.
Well,
Michael, I sort of asked it earlier, but I thought about it more. I guess my question really is, why did Pixar decide to do Brave, but not Disney? Just because it is like a Disney princess.
I thought I mentioned this. Brenda Chapman specifically pitched it to Pixar because she wanted more creative freedom.
Oh, okay. Like Disney wouldn't have let her. Well, I guess Pixar didn't really let her either.
Yeah,
I get it.
I mean, even after she was fired, like it wasn't going to change studios because Pixar was already so deep in development.
Okay, I get it. I just didn't process it when you said it first.
It's okay.
My bad.
Well, I think our discussion really is winding down. As is typical for human beings, our hour-and-a-half-long debate has not changed anybody's mind, and we are further set in our ways. The bond has not been mended.
The bond was not mended. The bond was broken.
I do agree with your point about the bow thing, that they should have incorporated the bow at the end. I do agree.
I mean, I think there's one thing that needs to be said. You guys all have a friend in me.
Oh, God.
Oh, dear.
Even when we mute you and kick you off the call for singing.
I didn't.
You might mute me and kick me off.
To like not like mute you forever. I was just muting you because I couldn't hear Nora's point, and then I went to go unmute you, and it was like I couldn't.
That was the funniest thing. Oh, I'd like to apologize for my laugh. I've apologized it for before, but she just like came out then. It was bad.
And honestly, I thought it only muted you on my end. I didn't think it muted you for Daniel and Nora.
It was so funny. It was so funny.
You know what? I'll apologize too. I got pretty heated with my criticisms of this movie. My goal was not to make anybody like dislike it more. I just wanted to try and further discussion, and I could have done it more civilly. I do apologize.
Pretty bad. I hope our opinions don't make anyone sad. Just remember what my co-host said, because Brave is an okay movie.
Brave is a great movie.
Brave is a wonderful movie.
Guys, did we just mend the bond?
Aww.
No, we did not.
Yeah, you see how emotionally wonderful mending the bond is, Daniel?
Well, our arc was way more sporadic and interesting than Brave's.
Hey, if there's one thing we can all objectively say, it's that Brave was a movie that came out in 2012 and it was from Pixar. We can all agree on that.
I am fascinated to see what Mark Andrews and Brenda Chapman do next, because I don't think Brenda's been able to get another project off the ground really since.
I really hope it hasn't
pitch.
blacklisted her or anything.
I don't think so. I think she just isn't working for the Disney machine anymore.
Because she's very talented, and
she is.
Prince of Egypt is literally one of my favorite movies ever made.
Egypt, best movie.
Yeah. And Mark Andrews has a movie coming up at Pixar, I think in 2022. So we will.
Ooh.
We will have to see how that turns out.
I watched Doug's Special Mission. I love you, Doug. And I also watched Luxo Jr. I got on the shorts after while I was watching Brave, because then I was sad.
Are there any shorts for Brave?
Huh?
Yeah, yes.
I also watched shorts for Brave.
There's like a it's not in the animation style of Brave, but it's like the story of Mordu. They have that.
It's good. But no, I that played right after I watched Brave. And I realized I'd seen it before because I believe I must have the DVD of Brave because I had seen it before, and I forgot how funny it was because it was
it's good.
Yeah, I watched that, Doug's Special Mission, Luxo Jr. I was really sad the Brave ended. I just wanted short little Pixar things, and then I watched Day and Night. Day and Night is amazing.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yep.
I really like. I don't know if this is Pixar or just Disney. Paperman.
Oh yeah, Paperman's good too. Paperman is like a proto Klaus with all the stuff they were doing with that. Anyway,
But yeah.
Why don't we just all give our final thoughts on Brave real quick to finish off the podcast?
Okay.
It's all right. I lean more towards positivity to it.
Nice.
Nora.
And I am sorry I got so aggressive. I was rather aggressive. I'm
No.
sorry.
You're
I was
all,
laughing
you're all
most
good,
of the
Nora.
time. I was laughing most of my aggression, but
Jaren.
there he is. Are we doing that now? Is that a thing?
No, you don't have to.
You can see my Joker mascara smear.
Okay. We're doing it.
We're doing it.
I have to change my setting.
My face is really close to the camera. Hello.
Y'all are using your phones?
Yeah. I'm
Well,
wearing my Hamlet.
Am I the only
That's
one
why
using my computer?
Daniel's
Okay.
Daniel,
face
did you get a haircut or something?
Yes, I did.
Oh, I thought you had a shaved head at first because the light was blocking the main part of your hair. Oh, Daniel, there's one thing. You were at the Seussical cast party, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, he was.
Of course you were. I was telling Nora about this the other day, and I was like, "Yeah, Daniel was there. She was there too."
Yeah, I didn't know you were there. I was there.
Yeah, he sang a
Yeah.
karaoke song, didn't he?
I crashed.
with
You
Joey.
didn't sing the funny song.
I
Did
crashed the cast party and sang Weird Al.
You didn't
Yes.
crash the cast party.
Olivia,
Crashed.
no.
Okay.
You sang the Weird Al
We-
song. I remember you, Daniel.
All right.
I sang the Les Mis song.
Anyway.
Wait, what did you?
I sang I Dreamed a Dream.
You don't remember
Yeah.
that?
Oh man, we got so off topic from final thoughts. I'm sorry, Nora. Go
Okay,
ahead.
my final. Okay, Nora, you go.
Oh, I was basically done for about my laughing aggression.
Okay, overall, Brave, 11 out of 10.
Yes.
Super good movie. Good plot point. Good character development. Good animation. Good sequences. Perfect. Mwah. Keep doing what you're doing, Pixar.
Mwah.
All right.
What a queen.
We're going to be talking about an underrated classic that I really like a lot next week.
Oh,
okay.
I like this next movie too.
We'll get to it, Jaren.
Wait, what's the next movie?
Monsters University.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess final thoughts from me. I really wish I could have seen Brenda Chapman's version of this movie. 'Cause
Same here.
that would have. It'd be fascinating to compare the two, but there's probably no universe where that happens.
How about you don't take projects away from creatives and let them finish their vision?
# release the Chapman cut.
Why not? It's my opinion on what happens to Tetsuya Nomura and Final Fantasy Versus 13.
But wait, didn't she and that guy that ended up finishing directing it both win the award that it
They
got?
were both credited.
She got credit for it because.
Well, see,
union
that's good at
rules.
least. At
Yeah,
least she got, credit, and they weren't
Yeah.
like, oh, it was our idea.
But a lot of her ideas just got taken
I
out
mean,
and changed. And I wish I
Zack
could-
Snyder was still credited for Justice League when Joss Whedon took over. So
Union rules are weird, especially for animation. But as for the movie we do have, it's a perfectly acceptable family movie that I just can't get into because of my qualms about the story. But that's okay because other people love it, and they deserve to have a movie they love.
and I can very much agree that Merida is a good character, and I like her a lot.
Yeah.
But our opinions are trash. So, all right. Well,
Oh, I would like to say, Olivia, thank you, especially for coming on this episode.
absolutely.
I needed somebody to help me defend Brave because
You kept
this
us perfectly
could have
balanced.
potentially
As all
this
things
could have
should be.
potentially turned into another Lotso the Bear situation.
They would have just ganged up on you.
Except Lotso the Bear had no facts behind my argument, except
my pure emotion towards Lotso the bear.
Really? See, that's why I haven't been on the other episodes, because I felt so strongly about them. I don't have any reasons. I just don't like them.
Maybe that's how I feel about Brave. Ooh.
Well,
No.
you know what? We can't accept that.
No, you can sit down, Daniel.
Well, I can't accept your Ratatouille opinion, but that's okay.
No,
'cause we're friends
okay,
anyway.
no.
You
I
don't
like Ratatouille.
Ratatouille?
I like Ratatouille, but
Whoops.
it's not my favorite. I don't like the song that plays in Ratatouille,
What?
but I like Ratatouille.
I love
Okay.
that.
Okay. I'll retract my statements about it. Yeah.
I'm talking about Cars 2.
Yeah, no, I don't.
We
think
had
I'm
Avery
up for
last
Cars 2.
week. Well,
So, yeah.
that wasn't even last week. We've been so busy. We
Yeah,
recorded that like Christmas Eve.
yeah. We're nearly in the second week.
Yeah, that's
Anyway.
been a while.
Anyway,
Hey, three of us
that was
were
it
really
for-
busy.
yeah, that was it for Brave, the first original film from Pixar for the 2010s decade. Back to a pre-existing franchise for the next one.
Yay!
Yay.
Wait,
Yeah.
never mind. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to break the cycle to mend the bond.
You were going to mention Spider-Verse.
Well, you did, technically, so ha.
I've been Daniel.
I've been Sharon.
I've been Nora.
I've been Olivia.
Thanks for listening. Bye.